Give a damn about a hater when I feel like it. Not today, not today, not today, not tomorrow. Get out my way.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome to Straight No Chaser. I'm your boy, the Bro-Kage Petty Pat, and today I'm going to talk to you about my top 10 movies from the 80s. That's right, movies from the 80s. I am an 80s baby. I guess I should rephrase that. I'm a late 80s babies. Late 80s babies. I'm a late 80s baby. Anyways, yeah, a lot of these movies I didn't see until, like, I would say in the 90s, some even in the early 2000s. But I never really saw any of these movies when they initially came out, as some of these movies came out before I was born. If you don't know, I was born in 87. So a lot of these movies didn't come into my life until later on. May I say like the 90s and early 2000s, like I said. But anyways, we're going to jump right into this list. Oh, yeah. First off, before I even jump into this list, see, I was about to jump the gun. These movies are in no particular order. I tried my damnedest to put them in order, but these movies are so good, I just couldn't give them like a proper ranking. So these are just my top 10 movies from the 80s in general. I didn't put these in any particular order. I just couldn't. I couldn't. But anyways, we're going to jump right into the list. We're going to start with number 10, my favorite of the whole franchise, Rocky IV. Rocky IV at number 10. I mean, this is my favorite movie of the franchise. Like I said, Rocky and Drago, to me, throughout all the movies and all the build-up and the training montages, had the best story and had the best reasoning for why Rocky was going to fight Drago. Like, the story and how everything culminated and came together in this story was great. And let's be real, the training montage for this movie, this man climbed an entire mountain, ran through like 5 feet of snow, and then ran to the mountain, top of the mountain, screaming, Drago! Like, come on, bro. This man was just on one for that, especially because you killed the homie Apollo Creed. And then the fight itself, Rocky versus Drago. Jesus Christ, did Drago beat the dog shit out of this man. This man had brain damage afterwards. If you went and watched Rocky V, Drago fucked his whole life up. Like, this man was having flashbacks and everything about Drago. Like I said, this movie, I don't need to say too much about this movie. Rocky versus Drago, I know people gonna have versus something to say, but let's keep it a buck. Rocky versus Drago was the best fight in the entire franchise. That's just my opinion. Let's keep this shit train rolling right here. Number 9, The Last Dragon. And I know what y'all thinking. Y'all thinking Bruce Lee, The Last Dragon. No, I'm talking about The Last Dragon with Bruce Leroy and Show Enough. Do I need to say more? Who wouldn't want to have a crew like Show Enough, who was writers and gave you one of the dopest intros ever? And not to mention, Show Enough has some dope one-liners. Like, matter of fact, when he confronted Bruce Leroy in the theater, he's like, oh, I'm tired of hearing about the Wasa Bruce Lee boy catching bullets with his teeth. Bullets with his teeth? Nigga, please. Like, come on, man. Show Enough had some one-liners, and then Bruce Lee was just a naive kung fu artist. But this whole movie was so good. I am a huge fan of this movie. I wish, honestly, they would remake this movie with Dion Cole. But they probably won't, because Dion Cole would make a perfect Show Enough. But anyways, kids, we keep this train rolling. Number 8, Big Trouble in Little China, starring the boy Kurt Russell. Now, I didn't see this movie until, like, I want to say the mid 90s, and I came across this on TV just randomly flipping through channels. And low-key, I fuck with this movie, and I feel like this was the closest thing we got to the Mortal Kombat before the movie Mortal Kombat actually came out. And honestly, I'm keeping it a buck. I fuck with this movie more than let me see, how many Mortal Kombat movies are there? The three Mortal Kombat movies compared to Big Trouble in Little China ain't touching this shit. They had the whole story was dope. Low pan, motherfucker. He had the 3 little fucking ninja dudes. One guy controlled lightning. One guy got super fat. I can't remember the whole shebang, but this movie is fantastic. If it ain't on your top 10 list of great movies in the 80s, I don't know what the hell you're doing. But Big Trouble in Little China, would say, is responsible for why I like Raiden in the first place in Mortal Kombat, because the dude who was supposed to be like Raiden in that movie was the one mainly fucking shit up for Kurt Russell and company. I think his name was Jack. I can't remember his first name. But anyways, let's keep it moving. Number fucking 7. This one played a huge part in my childhood. I love this movie. And to this day, this man has one of the most gruesome origin stories ever. And I'm talking about RoboCop. This dude started as a regular human. Now let's keep it a buck. OCP, the motherfuckers who run the police department in these movies, RoboCop, these motherfuckers ain't shit. These motherfuckers basically transferred this man without his knowledge, basically fucking had this man set up and just got blown to smithereens. Alex Murphy got shot the hell up. The fact that they even had enough to make this man RoboCop was nuts, because they shot this man to shit. This man, to me, has one of, like I said before, he has one of the most gruesome backstories. Good God. They did a remake, and let's keep it about, the remake was butt cheeks. And I don't know why they decided to forego the death that Alex Murphy had in the original for a car bomb in the remake. It took away from the story for me. I was like, that shooting for Alex Murphy, which made him RoboCop, that's what gets the movie going. Fuck that car bomb shit that y'all had in the remake. Come on, man. Don't deter too much from the original. Now, I will say this about the remake. I do fuck with the black RoboCop suit. That was fucking sick. I don't know about how they saved his left hand, so they kept his real hand. That looked kind of whack, but those are really the only things I enjoy from the remake, other than Sam Jackson, because I'm a Samuel Jackson fan till the day I die. But anyways, let's keep this going. Number 6. Woo! This movie, man, has been celebrated so many times. This trilogy has been celebrated so many times. The actors in this trilogy have been celebrated so many times. And I'm talking about Back to the Future. Marty McFly and Doc Brown, Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox. This movie is responsible for so much. This movie kind of gave us one of the first time travel movies that was dope, in my opinion. This kind of set the precedence for a lot of jokes in later movies, as far as time travel goes. And this movie made the DeLorean popular. Wasn't nobody checking for the DeLorean until this movie. This movie made the DeLorean famous, and the DeLorean is still a famous car to this day because of this movie. These DeLoreans are hard to get to this day because of this movie. Don't get me wrong, the other two are okay. I am not a fan of 3. We're gonna go ahead and get that out there right now. Back to the Future 3 is trash. I don't care what nobody say. You can't change my mind. If it ain't the first 2, I ain't rocking with it. But the OG one stands on its own for just basically being a pop culture icon. These 2 are still celebrated to this day. I think they just recently, last year or earlier this year, had a little celebration for Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox, I think, because they reached another milestone for this movie. So, like I said, this movie was just a huge part of my childhood. To this day, I still want a DeLorean. I'm trying to get my hands on the Lego version of the DeLorean car. You know how much this shit cost? That thing costs, I think $200, $200 to $250. So I don't foresee myself getting it no time soon. But when I get it, I'm gonna be happy as hell. All right, moving along. Now this one right here. This movie number 5, this one's had a lot of debate about what type of movie it is or whether it counts as a certain type of movie. And I'm here to tell you, number 5, Die Hard, damn it, is a Christmas movie and is number 5 on my list. This movie is responsible for giving us who will soon to become Carl Winslow. This movie is responsible for giving us one of the most legendary lines in movie history. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. And Man, let's talk about this movie. This man, John McClane, went into a whole building and basically saved everybody by himself. I mean, with the help of the homie Carl Winslow, because this man was, but it was mostly John McClane. Carl Winslow and the limo driver, Argyle, did help this man out. But John McClane was fucking shit up for Hans Gruber in this whole movie. If you don't know who Hans Gruber is, come on, man. Played by Alan Rickman. Professor Snape. If y'all don't fuck with him, Slytherin house all day if y'all ain't know. But anyways, he was fucking things up for Hans. Hans came in here, thought Nakatomi Plaza was going to be easy as hell to knock over. Not with John McClane in the crib. Like, come on now. This is one of the best action movies ever. Moving along, we going to talk about... Now, my buddy Jeffrey exposed me to this movie. I had no idea about this movie. Honestly, I had heard about it maybe once or twice, but I had like no idea how good it was until my buddy Jeffrey, like, I don't know what the hell we were doing. I think we were just chilling at his crib one day when we were kids, and he's like, yo, Pat, you gotta check this movie out. This movie good. And we just sat down and watched it. And I'm talking about The Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club is one of the greatest 80s movies ever, as far as just like a school type movie. And like, it's responsible for giving us the Brat Pack. If you don't know who the Brat Pack are, look them up. I can't list them all right now, but I do know it's Emilio Estevez, Judd Nelson, Molly Ringwald, and two others that I can't remember, Ali Sheedy, and I can't remember the last kid's name, but he played the nerdy kid in the movie who ended up writing the essay at the end. And man, the ending of this movie, man, good God, this was such a great ending. Like, just the culmination of them kind of going through all the motions and basically essentially getting to know each other, becoming friends, essentially finding themselves throughout this whole Saturday detention, and then that essay, and then the song to wrap it up. Don't You Forget About Me. Come on, man. And then Bender giving us the old fist at the end as it fades out and the song keeps playing. Bro, that is a beautiful ending. I can't say any more about this movie. This movie is so good. I don't know, man. I can't speak any more positive things about The Breakfast Club. This movie is good. Anyways, moving along, we got number 3, Beverly Hills Cop. Now, this movie, again, it's another movie I didn't really get exposed to until, like, I want to say, like, the late 90s. But when I did, I fell in love. Literally, I watch this movie at least once every week. Like, I love this movie. Axel Foley is one of my favorite characters from Eddie Murphy. All the other side characters, you got Bogomil, you got Rosewood, you got Taggart. Then you got, I love the back and forth between him and his boss, Inspector Todd. In fact, one of my favorite scenes just comes from the second one, is where Axel's trying to explain himself. He was like, sir, well, I thought. And he's like, don't think Axel makes my dick itch. Like, that's one of my favorite lines from the trilogy itself. But Beverly Hills Cop, dude, this dude was amazing. This dude basically essentially ran around lying. This man was a Detroit cop who left on 3 separate occasions to go solve crimes in Beverly Hills because they were tied to cases he was working in Detroit. Like, how does that happen on 3 separate occasions? I don't know. I didn't write the movie, but this movie, it made the 3 movies fucking awesome. And not to mention this man's, you can't go nowhere without humming this man's theme song at least a couple times. Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum. And the song is literally named after his character. It's called Axel F. But anyways, yeah, Axel Foley is one of the greatest cop stories. I think for me, this is one of Eddie Murphy's most iconic roles. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know he has Coming to America. I know this man has a laundry list of great movies. Coming to America, Life, Nutty Professor trilogy, yeah, they did 3 of those. The Nutty Professors, Dr. Dolittle, Daddy Daycare, freaking Harlem Nights. Like, this man has a laundry list of movies that are good, but Beverly Hills Cop that's just it for me. Like, I own these 3 movies. Like, I don't own any of his other movies. That's just what this movie means to me as an 80s movie. But we moving on. Now this one, I kind of cheated with this one. My wife said I was cheating a little bit too by having both of the movies for this movie in there, but I had to because I was such a huge fan. Like when I say fan, I'm about to tell y'all once I reveal this movie, I was a fan. Like I had every toy, every bit of anything that had to do with this movie, I owned it. I am talking about my number 2 pick, Ghostbusters 1 and 2. Like this movie played such a huge part of my childhood. Like I watched the cartoon show, and then later on down the road in the years where they came out with Extreme Ghostbusters, I want to say early 2000s, late 90s. I've watched both remakes. Or one is a remake, and then the newest one, Ghostbusters Afterlife, is a continuation. And let me tell you, when I say I had all the toys for this, I had the Ghostbuster house, I had the car, I had the Ghostbusters themselves, I had the proton pack, I had the ghost trap, I had the PKE meter. Bro, I had everything for Ghostbusters. Like I was a Ghostbuster head, and I still am to this day. Slimer is still one of the greatest characters in all of cartoon history. And honestly, I do love the original. The original is my favorite of the movies, but as far as like the big bad ghost they have to fight between the two movies, I like the second one better. Vigo, the painting, I don't know what it is. That painting haunted me in my childhood. That painting was so freaky, and the fact that it was a painting that came to life made it even more scary. So I was just, I think that's pretty much why Vigo is my favorite. I kind of wish they'd, like they did with the Ghostbusters Afterlife. I hear they're making a sequel to Afterlife, so I hope like when they revisited Zool that we'll get to see Vigo again. So I hope that's what we're going for. If not, hey, I'm going to enjoy it either way. I'm a Ghostbusters fan to the day I die. And now we're going to wrap it up. We get to number 1. And again, like I said, when I started this list, these are in no particular order. I couldn't have good conscience put these in any type of order. These movies all mean so much to me, so I couldn't possibly put them in order. But this one right here, again, this is another one my buddy Jeffrey exposed me to. My childhood best friend, still one of my best friends to this day. This man exposed me to this one. Had no idea this movie existed. Again, we were just chilling at the crib, and I guess he had watched it before I did. We're flipping through channels. It lands on this, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Pat, this is good." And so we ended up watching this, and I'm talking about my number 1, Revenge of the Nerds, man. If you ain't seen these 4 movies in entirety, like, I don't know what you're doing. Like, yes, there are 4 movies in this franchise. Let's keep it, for me, the 4th one isn't that great. I love the first 3, but nothing tops the first one. Like, the first one is just what brings all of this whole franchise together. The first one, the story was just so well told. It was just your stereotypical 2 guys going to college, end up getting picked on, kind of like them finding themselves and accepting the fact that they're not like everybody else. They're just nerds. And you got the alpha betas, which are the jocks making fun of them. But everything lead up to the finale of this movie, like what was it? It was like it's kind of like the sports festival from My Hero, except no fighting. The way the nerds basically came and got everybody on board at the end with this dope ass song. The song at the end was freaking sick. I love this movie. I love the second one. I love the third one. Like I said, 4th one, not on my list, but I love Revenge of the Nerds. Like, I pretty much sing the song almost every week. Like, I literally think I just watched this movie last week. I watched the first 2 last week because I can't find the third one anywhere for some reason. Whenever somebody puts these movies on streaming services, they never put all of them on there. It's either the first one or the second one, or the first and the third, or just the third. Like, it's never all 4. So I can never just have me a nice little marathon, and it sucks. But yo, that's my list. That's my top 10 list. But before I go, I want to list some honorable mentions because I feel like these 3 movies, or excuse me, either in a trilogy. These two movies in the trilogy. Actually, excuse me, again. These two trilogies and one movie deserve a little bit of recognition. So my honorable mentions for this list will be the Porky's trilogy, the Indiana Jones trilogy, and fucking Spaceballs. All three of those movies deserve an honorable mention on my list. I hope y'all enjoyed me letting y'all know my list of top 10 80s movies. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Remember, click that subscribe button and ring that bell, man, if you want to keep updated on all my latest videos. As always, that's my time. Keep it classy, motherfuckers. Deuces. Bam.